everyone, my name is Katy and thank you for joining me for another Animal Crossing video here on my channel. Today we'll be building a big old blue farmhouse and a little hobby farm for the 5th day of CROSSMAS. I'm posting a new video every other day until Toy Day, so be sure to subscribe to follow along. This is a big one and it's one of my favorite builds that I've ever done, so let's get started. So my island's theme is a small rural Midwestern town, and it's inspired by my childhood and all of the wonderful places from it. I grew up on a small hobby farm in the Midwest, and I really wanted to pay homage to that when building the home for my resident rep in Animal Crossing. So I had to start out by building a big old blue farmhouse. My parents' house was always this really pretty shade of blue my whole life until they decided to paint it green just a couple years ago. But to me and in my memories, it will always be blue, so that's what I went with in the game. I used 4 of the storefront items in the blue colorway, and I customized my house to be blue with a thatched roof. I feel like the storefront creates an illusion of a big porch or a wraparound porch, and my childhood home does have a beautiful big front porch, so I was pretty happy with how all of that was looking. The house itself is up on a cliff, and surrounding the house are some more cliffs. In real life, our hobby farm is surrounded by trees and located on a slope, so this is how I replicated that feeling in the game. For the pathing, I did that same gravel road kind of pathing that I did for Sasha's home, using the in-game path and the 9-tile dirt path on top of that. As always, today's codes will be included in my description box below. So once I got all that pathing down, I started just slapping down items that I knew I wanted to use. I put down, of course, my favorite item, the party lights, right in front of the porch. And then on the right side, I started to create a little sheep farm area. So growing up on a hobby farm, we would always have some kinds of animals. We had a couple horses, a couple goats, some chickens, etc. But we always had sheep and lambs. And I learned so much about responsibility and loving and caring for animals through raising sheep with my family. I've always wanted to create a sheep farm using the Aries rocking chairs, so this was the perfect opportunity to do that. My parents still have a couple sheep, and they are always a part of the family. They're my favorite animal, and I just love them so much. So I created a little barn for them using 2 of the retro transportation stops, and I fenced in an area to replicate putting the sheep out to pasture. I also put some sheep grazing on the upper cliff because there were always critters grazing up on the slope. I was inspired when I saw the glass jar customization with yarn to create a little fibers area by the sheep. I grew up learning a love of fibers and wool from my mom, who devoted a lot of time and energy and love into learning about wool and learning to spin wool and then weave on looms. So I created a little space with her in mind where my rep can spin wool and then maybe send it to able sisters to use in their clothing. A huge part of homesteading and hobby farming is learning different crafts and trades like that, so I wanted to include that in my little town. I remember seeing a tweet once that said something like, building an Animal Crossing is just putting down items to get them exactly where you want them and then picking them all up again to lay down paths. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I used those new barrels from Daisy May and of course a milk can as decorations. I thought that the stacked bags in the bean variety kind of looked like feed bags, so I placed those on top of a barrel to cover up that sign on the retro transport stop. I laid down my favorite little circle rug under the fibers area, and then I added a space heater. I've said this before, but I live somewhere that gets very cold during the winter, and my game is in the first week of December. Whether we had baby lambs or just older sheep during the winter, we would always have heaters and heating lamps out in the barn to keep them warm. I remember having baby lambs in maybe January when it was -X degrees, and we would bring the little babies into our house and give them warm baths and wrap them in warm towels and blankets and sit with them by a space heater. So this item brought back a lot of really fun memories, so I had to include it. So now that I had the sheep areas done, I went on to the left side of the farm. I wanted to have some crops in this area. I put down potatoes, sugarcane, wheat, and eventually I put down some carrots. And I used that same 9-tile dirt path between the plots. I had to have that blue tractor because it is my favorite. And I also love the new stacked items from the update, like the stacked cardboard boxes with all the different crop designs and the stacked bags in the soil design. So I had to use both of those as well. I have 5 of each crop and I'm able to access them and water them and harvest them very easily. So next to the house, I added a little shed area with a functional wooden storage shed. I used 2 more of the storefront items to resemble their own little shed building. And I had to add another milk can. At this point, my island theme should just be milk can core. I also added the wooden music box in the blue color, which I was very excited about, and I set it to play KK Country, of course. I was really excited to add a gyroid right here, and I had a little dance party with him. To finish off the build, I had to wait a couple of days to grow some trees, so I'm just adding those and some flowers and some bushes. Alright everyone, thank you for watching this speed build. I'm so happy with how it turned out. This build really re-inspired me and reminded me why I love this game and wanted to share Animal Crossing content. It can be so easy to fall into imposter syndrome, especially when you're posting your own content. But it's okay if your builds don't look like everyone else's, and it's okay because it came from your mind and your time and your heart. And sharing that is what's important and what's beautiful about this game. So yeah, big sis chat out of the way. Thank you so much for watching this build. If you like this one, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. I appreciate your support so much, and I hope that you know that others appreciate you too. Thanks again. Bye-bye.